Hopefully you finished 12.1, and we're now moving on to 12.2. Now 12.2 is probably one of the harder sections to understand, but if you grasp how to use Google Sheets, and you've been using Google Sheets, then this will be really simple, to be honest. Now, I'm going to say that this question, or this homework assignment, has only 3 questions to it, but you're going to notice when I click on it, it has 18. It says 18 questions. That's because of the 3 questions, each of them have 6 parts. Okay. Now, question one is always going to ask the same thing. Find the slope. Okay. That's always going to be question 1. Question 2 is always going to be find the y-intercept. Now, 3, 4, and 5 are going to be one of a random set of questions. 3 through 5 could either be this question. What is the... I'm sorry if you're having the same issue. It keeps wanting to disconnect and reconnect. Hopefully you're not having. So 3, 5 could be 1. What is the expected value for y when x equals 0? All right. What is the change in y when x increases by 1 unit? Some true or false question that's going to kind of change how they ask it, so it could be true or false, but it's always the same question. Right. Just know that all points predicted by the linear model fall on the same line. And this is true. Now, the way they're going to change it is they're going to put the word not in the very beginning. Instead of all points predicted by the linear model follow the same line, they're going to say not all points predicted by the linear model follow the same line. That's the we'll show you what they mean by this in a moment. Now this question, these 2 questions right here, this one of these 2, they're going to ask this one of 2 ways. One's going to be a free response, and one's going to be multiple choice. And I'll show you what happens when we get to those. But question 6 always be find the coefficient of determination, which was from 12.1. That's r squared. Right? The coefficient of determination is r squared. So, now the first 2 usually nobody misses. It's the rest that usually people have issues with. Okay, so let's look at this. Let's look at the question we have. Down a little bit. Now, first part is they give you this information at the very top. that says the table below gives the list price and number of bids received for 5 randomly selected. And so 5 randomly selected items sold through online auctions. Using this data, consider the equation of the regression line. Y hat equals B0 plus B. So we have our equation. Y hat. And that is actually called Y hat. Y hat, because it has a hat. And again, I didn't make this up. Okay, it's not me saying this. That's just actually what it's called. All right. B subscript 0 plus B subscript 1 X. This is your y-intercept. This is your slope. And so those are the symbols we're going to use for y-intercept and slope. Now, let's see. They want us to, in this one, find the slope. So they want us to find the B1 value slope, and we're going to copy data. Okay. And we're going to go over to Google Sheets. I'm going paste data. Now, let me show you what it is we're actually doing by showing you the scatter plot. I'm going to show you the scatter plot and zoom out a little. I'm going to highlight my columns, insert, chart, and here we have the scatter plot. Okay. Now, what we're actually doing is we are, if you want to do this, you can. You don't have to. I'm just kind of just showing you what it is we're doing. We are creating a linear function based upon this data. Okay, so if you remember y equals mx plus b, very similar, just not in the same order. Write that down. So, linear function. Linear function. Y equals mx plus b, except for regression, which we're doing is called regression. It is y equals 0 plus 1x. So notice the position with x switches places. But this is your slope. That's your slope. This is your y-intercept, and that's your y-intercept. So they put it in a different order. There's a reason for it, but it's not really super important unless you go to advanced statistics, where you do what's called multiple regression analysis. So you have multiple variables that just do. So we're going to create this, but again, we're not going to have to make this. Okay, we're going to use Google Sheets to do it for us. Okay. To do that, I'm going to show you the physical line. You go to, once you have the graph set up over here, automatically opens up. Once you do the chart, this automatically opens up. You want to go to Customize and then Series and add the trend line. So this right here is my line of prediction. This is my y hat 0 plus b1x prediction line. Now, if you remember that question, that's true or false question. It says all points on the predicted, all points made by the prediction, all predicted points fall on the same line. Yeah, this line, every point you predict is on this line. So if I wanted to plug in 42, I'd predict that y value. If I plug in 44, that's the y value. 46, that's the y value. I predict. So all points fall on a same line. So all points fall on the same line. All points predicted by the model fall on the same. Just kind of reinforcing that. Now, since this is a linear function, we have a slope. We have a slope, your b1 value. The question y hat equals x, it's always with x. Slope is always. We have a y-intercept, 0. And Google Sheets has a way of finding that. Right? So there's an actual formula. If you remember, like your Corel formula, remember your R equals which is equals CORREL, comma A colon A, comma B colon B. Put that back up there. This is equal to CORREL A colon A, comma B colon. There's your R formula. And remember, we found R squared. R squared. And you can do this on Google. You don't have to. Is equal to that squared. Basically just equal to R. So that is K n. I don't want to do that. Just know it's just R squared. You can do that in the calculator. Now, if you want the slope, trying to connect. Maybe it must be my computer that's having the issue. I have it. Okay, so just delete some of it. All right. So I'm not going to worry about the R squared again. I mean, I need it, so I'm going to put it back up here. R squared, because remember, we need that for our last question. Which is equal to this. Shift 6 and 2 squared. Put this here. Now, if you want slope, and y-intercept, you're going to be using these formulas. And here's the really nice thing. It's their own name. Okay? It's equals slope, parentheses. Now here's the difference. If you remember that correlation was A colon A, B colon B, slope and y-intercept are always backwards. Okay? It's going to be B colon B, comma, A colon A. So, equals slope, parentheses, B colon B, comma, A colon A. And the y-intercept's the same way. It is intercept equals intercept. B colon B, comma, A colon A. Equals intercept B colon B, comma, A colon A. By the way, all of these things, you don't have to make these. I just put them there so you could see what the equation is. If you miss me typing it, this is exactly what you would type in to get the same answer I have. Okay, so if you wanted to pause the video and then write down these numbers, okay, you can do everything I've done, which is the insert, so highlight, insert chart. And once the chart pops up, customize, series, click on trend line. Good. You have everything that I put on the chart. Right. Next is the equation. Right. Now, usually they want you to go to 3 decimal places, so I'm going to round all these to 3 decimal places. There we go, 3 decimal places. Now that means my equation, because sometimes they're going to ask, what is the equation? Okay, so they're going to have, off to the side, they're going to have y hat equals, and you're going to have to write out the equation, and they want it in that b0 plus b1x, whereas this is b1, this is b0, so I would write my equation as negative 9.944 is negative, plus 0.425 times x, and that's how you would write your answer. You would write out the whole thing just like that. Let's see what this question has for us. I'm going to leave this here because it gives me my slope and y-intercept. Right, so bottom. So what is the slope? We said the slope was 0.425. Slope. Next question is going to ask, what is the y-intercept? We said negative 9.944. Again, round to 3 decimal places. Done. Now, remember I said 3, 4, and 5 are going to be randomized questions. Okay, let me leave that there. Let me do this though. So and if you want to write down the question, pause it and write down the question. Go right ahead. But right here, so this is one of the longer questions. The substitute the values you found in the equation, blah blah, to find the estimated linear model. According to this model, the value of the independent variable, which is x. My mouse for that. Value of the independent variable, x. The independent variable right here is increased by 1 unit. Find the change. Now this is important. That word right there, change, is another word. In fact, rate of change is a word we associate with slope. So this question just is asking in the most convoluted way possible, what is the slope? And really, I think it just wants you to understand what the slope actually does. All right. Every increase of x by 1 value, so if x starts at 1 and then goes to 2, then goes to 3, then goes to 4, what is the expected change in y? What's going to happen to the y value? And the answer is whatever the slope is. It's going to either increase or decrease whatever the slope is. If positive means increase, negative means decrease. Okay, so the change in the dependent variable y hat is just going to be slope. So all they're asking for is the slope. And they're going to give you one of two options here. Okay, so if they give you a text box, so for this question right here, if you get a text box, which is what I have, and we have a text box, then just write your slope number again, 0.425. But sometimes it's going to be multiple choice. And it's going to give you always these options, B0, B1, X, Y. All right. And you have to remember that slope, using your equation, y hat equals B0 plus B1. Slope is always with X. So my answer would be B1. By the way, if they do give you this multiple choice, never choose X or Y. Those will never be correct. Okay, ever. It's either going to be B0 or B1. You got a 50-50 shot here. So here I'm going to go ahead and type in 0.425. And that's what they wanted. All right, so remember that true and false question I said they come up with? Well, here it is. This always said that I'm going to change that first word. Not all points predicted by the linear model fall in the same line. And again, if we go back to my Google Sheets, every point predicted by the linear model falls in this line. So they always fall on the same. Always, always, always. So the word not invalidates it and makes it false. They always fall on the same line. All right, another question they're going to give you. They're going to want you to use this equation. They're going to want you to use this equation and then find the value for y when x is 4. So here's what they're going to want you to do. They're going to take the equation, negative 9.944 plus 0.425. Instead of x, you're plugging in 32. And just put that in a calculator. So I'm going to plug this in the calculator here. I hate that. Use this one. I think I actually still have it open. There it is. Clear this. That is negative 9.944 plus 0.425 parentheses 32. Enter. So you get 3.656. What do they want to round to? 3 decimal places, so 3.656. What did I forget? Oh, did I plug in 32? They said 34 and I plugged in 32. That's probably what. Fun thing is I can scroll up and highlight what I typed in, press enter, and then change that to 34. Now 4.50. Now, here's a question. When you do the certify, if you ever get something wrong, and this is real fun, this is kind of the annoying part, and I say fun in a very sarcastic way, sorry, it's kind of hard to tell on a video where you don't see my face just be so sarcastic. Anyway, if you get a question wrong, okay, let's say you did question 1 through 4 correctly and you're in question 5 like I am here, and you get it wrong, they're going to change the numbers on you. Okay, they're going to change these numbers. Now, before you get stressed that you have to do the whole thing over again, go back into, copy data, go back into Google Sheets, and then paste it. And that's really all you would do, because if they gave me new numbers, when I paste it, all these would change automatically. So one is not a big deal if they did it. But 2, the reason why it's not a big deal is because they give you this option down here, which is previous step answers. Okay, now notice that my intercept is different. That's because they have an estimated value when finding the y-intercept, and we don't. We use a we use software to find y-intercept. But notice I didn't get any answers wrong. Okay, and I still not. When I plug this in, that's going to be correct, even though I used a different number than they did. And that's fine. They have a little bit of wiggle room in these questions because I know people are going to use software and not do the way that they do it. Please do not watch the Learn video for this because that would be just a headache and a half for you to see the Learn video and then you see me do this very differently. Okay, try to use Google Sheets. Practice it. And again, all you have to do is enter this in once. If you type this in correctly once, you never have to change it again. You just have to delete and then paste the new values in the same spots in column A and column B. All you have to do, because these values will automatically change, and I don't know why it's not moving, these values will automatically change and adjust every time you change the data. Okay, you'll see it once I do the next question. Even the chart will change. All right, so finish this, close that, submit answer. All right, next question. Last question is, what is r squared? Find the coefficient determination, which again is r squared, and I have it on here. R squared is 0.927. And again, it says coefficient determination. Just make note that means r squared. All right, I'm going to do another question. Let me clear this. Again, do another question, but I don't really have to do much because I just have to copy data, go back over to Google Sheets, delete this, and you notice everything's going to go no data, and then over here it's going to say, no, I don't know what's going on. Just paste it. Hey, this changed, my line changed, and all my values are now different, but they're automatically calculated. I don't have to do any work. My new equation, I'm going to write down the new equation. Again, it's good to have this on here. Y hat equals, again, B0 plus 1x. 1, this is 0. Y hat is 95.461 minus, this time, minus 6.05. Don't really need that 0, so I'm going to leave it alone. X. So, this, go back in. The first question is, what is the slope? Slope is negative, so don't forget the sign. People forget that all the time. Negative 6.05. Negative 6.5. Go. Second question is, what is the y-intercept? It's always the same two questions in 95, 461. And this is where they change up on us. See, this time it's that same question. According to estimated linear model, if the value of the independent variable is increased by 1 unit, and the change, that word change means slope. Slope is represented by B1, so B1 is my answer. That's that multiple choice question. Right, now here is the multiple choice question for determine the value of the dependent variable at x equals 0. When x equals 0, in fact, if I just plugged it in here, this was 0, then B1 would go away because anything times 0 is 0. So you're just left with B0. You're left with your y-intercept. So if x equals 0, then you are left with the y-intercept. Right? Now, if it's multiple choice, right, then done, B0. But sometimes, again, it'll give you a text box. So if they gave you a text box, I just type in the y-intercept again. Right, so this would be one of the questions that could either be a text box or be multiple choice. In this case, it's multiple choice. Question 5 now. Okay, not all points. Again, not all points, but they always do. That's false. They always do. And then what is r squared? Go back here because I did this once. Again, you just have to get this right once and you'll get it right every time. 0.78. This new question. Now we have similar question, find slope. copy data. Back over here, delete the data. Delete. Paste. And now I have all my new values. So again, I'm going to write the equation out. I always like writing it out. Y hat is y-intercept 398.15 minus 1.1121. That way I have my slope and my y-intercept. So slope, negative 1.12x, x, right? Y-intercept, 398.19. Not all points per development. That's all. That's always, again, if they have word not, it's false. They don't. It's if it says all points, it's true. All right, so here's that multiple choice. Again, if x equals 0, you have your y-intercept. Y-intercept is 0. Right. Here it is. What is the value? This is the text box for slope again, so negative 1.121. Again, the key word is change. Anytime you see change, rate of change is slope. And then what is r squared again? 0.743. So this gets really easy once you do it correctly once. Get it correctly once, then the last, you should really move straight through it. That's it. That's all the questions for 7.2. So, make sure that you take notes, especially on how to set up these values. Okay, especially how to set up those values. R and R squared we did in chapter 12.1, so make sure you have notes on that. Again, you don't have to do R squared on the computer. You can do it in the calculator, but if you set it up, again, this is how I set it up. I just said it's equal, and I clicked on this cell, and then I use this right here. It's called the caret symbol, and you can press it. If you hold down Shift and press 6 on your keyboard, you should see the caret symbol above the number 6 on your keyboard. And then press 2. Let go of Shift and press 2. Then you'll have that squared. Again, just let me delete it so you can see how it works. Delete is equals, and then I click on my R value, the value for R, the cell that has it in there. And then I do Shift 6, holding down Shift, press 6, letting go of Shift, press 2, and then there it is. That's all you do to find R squared. So again, write these down. Make sure you write them down correctly. A colon A, comma, 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 comma. Not that many commas, just one. B colon B. And then slope and y-intercept are always backwards. B colon B, comma, A colon A. B colon B, A colon A. It is important you have it done that way. All right, that is everything. Now here's the thing. I have a midterm coming up that covers 1, 2, 3, and 12. So the way the midterm is going to work is a little bit like the quiz, okay? Except you're going to have less time, because I think I give you like a while to get the quiz done. I give you like 3 days to get the test done. Okay, so what's going to happen is I'm going to, this weekend, open up the chapter, the midterm, sorry. I'm going to open up the midterm that covers chapters 1, 2, 3, and 12. And then I'll give you 4 days. I'll give you through Tuesday to get it done, right? And it's open notes, okay? Open notes, open homework, open whatever. Not open person. Make sure you have to do it, okay? And you can't. You're supposed to do this on your own. That's about the only thing. But yeah, you can use your notes. Make sure you get all the homework done, because if you have all the homework done and you have the notes on the homework, That's it. That's all you need. Do the review. There should be a review that's up. Okay, a midterm review that's up. And if you've done the homework, you're going to notice it's the same questions from the homework. Now, if you want to know what exactly to expect on the test, do the review. Okay, because that will tell you exactly what's on the test. All right. So if you do the review and you have a question on the review, you feel free to post it on Edmodo. Again, take the picture of the question and a picture of your work so everyone can see the question and see what's going on. Because if you have a question, I guarantee somebody else does, and I'd like to answer that question for everybody instead of just one person at a time. So, yeah, that'll be this weekend. I'll so try to get the chapter 12 homework. Try to get that done quickly, and then you'll see the no, I think this weekend. I think it's next. Let's see, next week. I want to give you more time to get chapter 12 work done, so maybe I'll open up through the week. I'll basically open up Monday and just do Friday. We'll do that instead. That'll give you more time to focus on chapter 12 and focus on the midterm review. So Monday through Friday, the tests will be open, and over the weekend I will be grading them. What you want to do, by the way, and I'm going to try to put a note on Edmodo and a note on Canvas, is when you're done taking the test, send me a copy, post a copy either on Edmodo. You can send it to me as a message, or you can text it to me because you should have my cell phone number. A copy of your of your Scratch work, because that way I can see what you were doing and what you're trying to do in case there's a mistake, and people make mistakes. That way I can see what's going on and maybe give you partial credit for it. So take photos of your work and then send it to me when you're done with the test. And what was it? Make sure if you do that, your work should be numbered, okay, labeled with your name on it, and it's numbered. That way I know who you are, because I don't have all your cell phone numbers memorized. If you do an Edmodo, I should know who you are. But also I can find your questions pretty easily. Okay. That's it. That's it for tonight. I am going to go to bed. So good luck on chapter 12. Again, text me or do post on Edmodo for questions about homework or questions about the midterm review.